this year's Bitef, obviously dedicated to Fatalna, and it's an honor to have Filip Ken, the author and the director, as my guest. We will also have Gaetan Borš with us, the actor, a bit later. Unfortunately, tonight we will be limited to 30 minutes of discussion because the artists will need to go. So we will try to keep this first part as short as possible and then give the microphone to you. That's the point of tonight's conversation. Of course, most of you already know that Fatalna was produced in 2019 as a co-production between the company of Filip Ken FIlip studio and of course Kammerspiele from Munich. Since then, it has been kind of a blockbuster production concerning the European festivals. It has been performed around a lot, as well as other Filip's productions such as Crash Park and Night of the Malls, and etc. etc. For starters, I would like to hear something from Filip about his strong background in visual arts, of course. And I don't know if people know that in earlier stages of his career, he was working as a set designer. He was also artistic director of the French performance at the Prague Quadriennale, the awarded one, in 2019. So could you tell us a bit about this background and the transition from a visual artist to a theater author and director? And was it a transition? Was it a natural road or a transition?
Okay, I will try with my poor English, but Gaetan, who performed Femme Fatale, is here and he speaks better than me. He played Pécuchet in the show. But thank you very much because it's my first time in Belgrade and Serbia, and thank you with Bitef and the French Institute, because it was amazing to be invited 2 months ago, but COVID changed many things. Just shortly, the show was, the creation was in March 19 in Kammerspiele, because originally the show was for the repertory of Kammerspiele with 5 actors, including Gaetan. And I won't say it's probably a long tour, but we restart with Bitef, because with COVID we didn't play a lot. So things, we play with mask, and it's not because COVID, we had mask in 19. But the tour, I won't say, I hope restart, because of course many international theaters postponed to 22 and some of them 23, like Asia. But it's a chance to be on tour now with this show. I'm from visual art school, but you can do theater. Everybody can imagine theaters, and it's not only the background, but of course the visual, the atmosphere, or the set design is very important for my shows, my theater, and I think we start with the topic and the title, and we really invent the piece during the process and the rehearsals, but it's not only me, it's many artists do what we call in France écriture de plateau, or I don't know, writing, more and more artists invent shows during rehearsals. And I also work with many a family of actors, and for example Gaetan is since 2003 in all my shows, most, But, and of course this one was about, again, because all my shows, I think, are about the end of the world. So it's a new episode. I started this saga a long time ago, and I topics, and it's infinite subject. This, how to save the world and how to care and how to resist with art or poetry or politics also, but our way is more art. And I was in visual art school, but it's very hard to work alone, like a plasticien. I respect a lot writers or plasticians, visual artists, because they are really alone. And I was very stimulated by theaters or performing arts because you are with few people. You don't work alone. That's why it was more fun to start theater and not painter. Or I think it's a bit less depressive to be to work in performing art.
Thank you for that. Before we go on, I would just like to welcome Gaetan Vuj, the actor who has joined us in the meantime. And obviously, let's talk about ecological subjects. We are focusing on ecology in several plays this year, and of course, unlike the play we saw yesterday, which is a very openly activist play, there's in Farm Fatale there is this huge sense of irony. So some critics were also wondering if this was an invitation for an ecological revolution or a comment about its illusory or about how any ecological activism is a lost cause. So what would you say about that? What is your opinion about any kind of activism today? Is it a lost cause? Is it pointless or not?
We need many ways. We need activists, we need humor, we need better politicians, we need many things for save the world. It's infinite also. It's, comment je veux dire? Attends, je vais faire en français un bout de ça. Tu peux me traduire? Non, mais it's time to. I mean, we really are in the end of the planet, but it's interesting if I'm optimist, because it seems complicated to find a solution with politics, but more and more artists or more and more writers or philosophers or humans try to reorganize a possibility to stay on this planet. Of course, it's a big subject, but my way. I mean, I don't know. I never. When I start a show, I don't know if it's funny or not. But I don't know. But I don't know. It's really sad this show. That probably people won't laugh because it's horrible. And once things are horrible, it's nervous, laughing. I don't know. It's not clear my English.
Is there hope in your opinion or not?
Opinion?
Is there hope in your opinion or not?
Hope, yeah. I mean, Farm Fatale, yes, because they have many solutions, and they also invent a new community with a bee and with an android chicken. I think it's the most optimist part of the show, how to be together with different species. And yeah, for now, and also theaters create nice communities with audience, and it's a good art for our time. I like cinema, but I feel sad sometimes alone in the cinema with a copy and images. I think performing art or concert or live art. I think it's a good hope. It's a good
Okay, thank you for that. And I would like to talk to Gaetan now, in the sense of actors' experience in this kind of a play. Specifically, I want to ask a question about masks, because this year we are dealing with, formally, with dehumanizing the performer in many productions in many ways, where wearing a mask would be one form of dehumanizing the performer or alienating from the audience. Another one would be choreography that is robotized. Another one would be absence of the performer for the scene. Another one would be usage of robots, drones, etc. on the scene. So, how do you think about your position as an actor when you're wearing a mask? Because I think that unlike some other contemporary productions where, I mean, for example, Susanne Kennedy, where this alienation is obvious, we have a different situation here. We end up with some creatures that end up more human than humans, more likable than us humans. So is this dehumanization or rehumanization, or what is it? How do you feel towards that as an actor?
Well, maybe it's imitation,
Okay.
because they've been staying in the field for ages, looking at human behaviors. So then, after the end, this human species, they might started by the way we were looking at them. But at the story, it's funny because how the work went, how it went. We first started with this idea of farm and farmers, and we used first the mask as to characterize farmers. And in the rehearsal, at a certain point, we realized that we were doing more scarecrows than farmers, right? So, and the mask is something. It's like it helps to create in a way. It's a nice object, because once you wear this, it asks you to move it on certain ways, and the way we speak, we are helped by the microphones that change our sound. So it's like very lively, because you have to be deep in intention, in movements, in the way you talk. And the image we have for the audience is strong. You know, when we enter, we are very characterized. So it's just, it's very present, very concrete. Actually, once you have the mask, you just have to find a way to have fun with movements. But the image is carried by the texture. Yeah, texture is important, even in the Philip theater. Texture can be a light, can be a sound, can be a movement.
I also think it's not since 2016 I changed a bit my theater because I feel it's necessary to go deeper in grotesque or absurd, and we had a few years ago a show with moles, Malwolf, and also to experiment how you feel when you are an animal, and if a giant mole, sorry, it was not real moles, it was actors with costumes, but in the school when I was young, long time ago, I had this lot of performance with masks and puppets. I come from this world, and after, when I started like director of theater in 2000, it was the time to use normal people, and I was also, I created some show like L'Effet de Serge or Melancholy of the Dragons, for put on stage people normal, non-efficient people. Because it was a time in France with super efficient actors and very good theater maker, but my way was to put on stage amateurs, or not fake amateurs, just people who try to be not efficient on this planet, with no mission, no tragedy, no problem with sex or money. The press at this time say Philip do non-theater, like non-dance. In France we have Jérôme Bel or Xavier Leroy, but it's not true, it was theater. And now I feel it's more strong for me, this feeling about apocalypse, and I like put zombie on stage or molds. Probably next season about Jérôme Bosch, a show with monsters. I like now to go deeper in the science fiction or yeah. It was also since a few years I have this chance, and I'm invited in Germany or next month in Poland, and I create shows with actors from different countries and different cultures of acting, and it's very, very interesting. And of course, when I had this time in Kammerspiel Munich with strong actors, or now in Poland, actors in Warsaw, it's super interesting. Combination with where we come from, and so, like Farm Fatale, I propose to bring also Gaëtan from our style, and it's a mix. So when you say Pécuchet arrived later in the show, it's inspired by the situation, because now it's a mix of it's a new cast for Farm Fatale, because two people based in Germany don't want to with COVID. So with mask, we have many scarecrows now. It's okay, and scarecrows can be more and more. I have in mind also a piece with 50 scarecrows, like a revolution of scarecrows or something more operatic. I don't know. But, yeah.
Very efficient, very efficient.
Why not a new party? Scarecrows.
Well, thank you for that too, and I would like to invite the audience to ask questions now, because we really don't have much time.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Anyone?
First Q&A since 2 years. Since 2 years, I think.
I wanted to ask about the ending of the show. I'm interested how idea went from your head, and did it change when you came next to the actors, to rehearsals? How the path from your head to now what the
Excuse me, could you just put your mask off when
I think they heard me. They heard me. You can do it in France.
No, I don't know if I understand the question, but well, many things when you start from zero, many things happen with the rehearsals. But the eggs, à la fin. Ah oui, no, many things happen in, like Gaëtan said, we started with about the topic about farm, and I don't know if it's a question, but...
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah.
It was not about acoustics. Maybe just repeat.
We didn't understand the question.
The question was pretty much like, how did you went from scratch? Like, how did you went from the idea in your head? Did you have it all ready and set up, or did something change throughout the process?
Working method.
Yeah. No, this show was, I was sure 5 actors and mask. And the topic about farm, soil, OGM, how to talk now about this problem in agriculture in general, it was the beginning. So the process is 2 months, also 1 month I can say we collect many materials. It's bad, not many people work like that. And after 1 month we start a new part with decisions, and it's pity because we have deadline and premiere. I can search for 10 years, but it's also exciting to decide and say, okay, this idea we keep it, but sometimes I start from zero, and for the show we had the first day with mask because it was super important to feel this to work with this old puppet style. It was very cute because it's an idea from a woman in Kammerspiel who care about mask. The mask department in Munich is really nice. And I explained to Brigitte I will work about farm and nostalgia, about old farm and old toys. I had in mind all this. When you are children, you play with. When I was young, to play with farm soldier or farm. It was always nostalgic or something cute that you have poor toys from your grandfather. So I had in mind this aesthetic of old figures. And Brigitte said we had old mask from 1960, from an old director in Germany also. So this, and I like this idea to recycling. And I say, but it's they are poor masks. Yeah, they sleep in your storage. Why not? They have a chance to play with us. So she say, okay, I offer you this, and we create. Of course, comment dire, les masques étaient un peu pour le caractère. Enfin, on a adapté, mais le style des masques. Comment on dit ça?
Yeah, it's like a mask, so it gives you a kind of character. Then maybe the mask first was the face of a farmer, and then it came in the body as a scarecrow. It was a change.
But after it's theater, you can invent music, songs.
Also, the end is also because everybody will leave the theater. So let's leave. Time to leave.
I have a question for the actors. How did you build the characters? Did you build it during the rehearsal, but as a tool for the rest, or it was already a question that you wanted to face? I will be this kind of people and this kind of scarecrow, let's say. Did you build it from inside, or behind all the truth?
Both, because it's funny how a character. What is a character? I mean, the characters are many things, and very simple things sometimes. A mask helps you to have a character because it gives you maybe an age, the way you talk, the way you open your mouth, the way the way you can the sound of the voice also gives you the character. That's a work with the micro, and we didn't decide anything before doing things in a way. We've been improvising a lot. And for example, a simple situation, you have scarecrows here, and what do scarecrows? They just stay where they are. It's their life. So we just decided we want to, okay, every scarecrow will tell what was his life with humans. So that's imagination and some few details. Or this idea of the radio was nice in the rehearsal too. So let's do a radio broadcast on the bee. So how was the bee interviewing the bee? And then you have so many situations that you can imagine, and then you pick up what is interesting and what stories you've been reading or you've been inventing, and it gives you an idea of the character. And it's such a personal way for each actor which gives you the character in a way. It's just in the rehearsal, totally.
Filip, the sound of the voice in performance is superb. It's really nice. So, did they speak under the mask and there is a microphone that amplifies the sound, or some scenes and some vocal parts are recorded?
No, it's all live.
It's all live.
Yes, it's not because I also I really like you say Suzanne Kennedy. I also like Suzanne, and we invited Suzanne a few times in Nanterre when I was artistic director. But she worked with playback.
Yeah.
But no,
That's what I'm asking, because always is a problem with the
no, I need this feeling. No, it's a pitch you can dim, so Pécuchet and meet their low voice and the other. Yeah. It was for this piece was important to have this non-real and this feeling of with puppet and a bit comic book. I think more the subject is sad, more is good to transform actors, and maybe it's the new way for me to try this comic book theater, like drawings. But the voice was also an intuition since the first week. In Stadttheater in Germany, it's not easy to ask the sound department since your first week. And I fight a lot for this because it's a very plastic. It's essential for actors and find inside a clown. So because in France we start with technicians and everything, but yeah, this question is funny your question, because I remember it was not easy to have this 5 microphone for 2 months, because in Stadttheater they say now let's see in the final rehearsals on stage. So, but no, for this show it was nice to have this effect to find characters, and this yeah.
It works.
And well, also was many lot of rehearsals. I had in mind Samuel Beckett because it's really scarecrow situations. It's crazy important the influence of Samuel Beckett about not only absurd things, but metaphysics and the situation with 5 people, middle of nowhere is, yeah, of course, a bit clear if you think about Godot or things like that. This kind of dramaturgy, but they have more missions than Samuel Beckett's pieces. They also have projects and they want. They found this radio project, so yes.
They're creative.
Yeah, but
they work in the field.
Yeah, it's. I think many shows for me are. I don't know. It's maybe always the same show, but I put communities on stage with a simple mission. Sometimes they are artists. I mean, they are always artists on stage. If you see, they are scarecrows. They have a radio project, so they are musicians, and also the moles. It was not the real life of this mammifer mole. I think, the message, if I can say message, they fight for poetry or art because I don't know other way. So it's So a long time ago, the dragons in the Melancholy of Dragons, they had this project, amusement park about nature. I created a show with children in Belgium. It was a Academy of Superheroes, how to save the world. The children wrote the piece with me, and the new show now in Basel, I created a new show, science fiction. The name is Cosmic Drama, and they re-enchant asteroids. So it's 5 astronauts, not like Jeff Bezos and the guy from Virgin, but they land in abandoned theater, because after COVID it was nice to work in Basel in empty theater. And this empty theater during COVID was very inspiring for me. And so it's a spaceship who land in middle of a big theater, and they find 5 asteroids a bit sick. So they read poems and for connect with them, and it's about stones after scarecrows. But it's infinite, the subject about the end of the world. It's nice. We have many possibilities. Yeah.
I was so amazed how your scarecrows are caring to each other, how they respect each other, how they listen to each other. And I was wondering how important is the idea of empathy into your plays in general, because this was full of empathy. It can be a kind of...
Yeah, but it's what I say, if you don't work, I don't create tragedy or shows about... I mean, if you... This is the dramaturgy. Tension, the only chance to work with this empathy for this kind of theater, maybe. Because the relation with you, yeah, it's simple. It's how to, yeah, I like, we had the show last month in Slovenia. I like when people in the audience think, oh, I won't join this group. I want not come on stage. It never happened, but you know, like, I won't stay with this band. Or like, I have this feeling when I like concert and music. So yeah, it's empathy, right?
Because everybody feels like welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they have empathy for the neighbors. Yeah, you're right. It's like taking each other in consideration and how to try to do something, stay together in a way. But because most of the time there are no conflicts in the shows, so it's quite different than many shows. You could say in that one there are conflicts with the neighbor, but that's different as a king of the game. But there is no conflict. It's more staying on stage with you for an hour and a half and then leave. So it's also the same on stage. You know, a new scarecrow arrived, and it gives the idea for every scarecrow to tell a story, his own stories, and then start something together.
But non-conflict between a group, it's only possible in theater, you know? That's why we do theater. But before, maybe it was time for tragedy or I don't know. I also like to see tragic theater. We try another way.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, and thank you for this evening. Thank you for staying a bit longer than planned with us. It was obviously an interesting conversation. Thank you, the audience.
Mi